Okay, today we need to sit down and have some real talk. We're diving into an explainer about a trap that honestly catches almost every young professional out there at some point: the lifestyle inflation trap. As a mentor, I see this happen literally all the time. You grind, you work hard, you finally land that big promotion and start earning more money, and yet, somehow, you actually feel poorer. You feel way more stressed. So today, we're going to crack open the cold, hard numbers, and we'll look at the hidden psychology behind exactly why this happens. Let's just dive right into the core paradox here. So, on one side, picture a 29-year-old tech support worker. He's making $75,000 a year. Now, that's well above the median household income, right? He should be totally comfortable. But instead, he's checking his bank account every single day with this low-level anxiety. He's only got about $1,500 saved up, and when his laptop died recently, he had to finance a new one on a credit card. He just feels constantly broke. Now, flip over to the other side. We have his older brother, a 34-year-old teacher, making $45,000 a year. That is a full 30 grand less, and somehow the guy is absolutely thriving. He's relaxed, he's taking his family on summer vacations, his savings are high, and you never hear him talking about being tight on cash. So we really have to ask ourselves, how on earth is the guy making $30,000 more feeling like he's totally drowning, while the lower earner is doing just fine? To figure that out, we really have to look at the math. See, when you jump from making $45,000 to $75,000, your take-home pay goes from roughly $3,200 a month to about $4,800 after taxes. That right there is a $1,600 raise every single month. By all logic, that extra $1,600 should just be piling up in your bank account, right? I mean, you should have an extra $19,000 saved up by the end of the year. But you don't. You have absolutely nothing to show for it. And honestly, the scariest part, you have absolutely no idea where it went. Well, think of this next part as your financial receipt. It shows exactly how these really seductive incremental upgrades just quietly eat up an entire raise. It usually starts with rent. You upgrade your apartment because, well, you tell yourself, I've been in this cramped studio for years, I deserve it. Boom, rent goes from $1,200 to $1,800. That is $600 gone right there. Then you swap out the old reliable car for a newer one. The higher payment and insurance, that takes another $310. Then you decide to start eating better. Ordering DoorDash, going to nicer weekend spots, buying lunch instead of meal prepping. So your food budget doubles from $400 to $800. Finally, you upgrade the phone plan, you switch to that fancy $70 gym, and you just start stacking up the subscriptions. Netflix, Spotify, Disney Plus, maybe a meal kit. And suddenly, just through these totally normal, I deserve it middle-class upgrades, that entire $1,600 raise is completely wiped out. And crazy enough, that didn't even cover the invisible expenses. I'm talking about those random Amazon packages, the coffee runs that morphed from a fun Friday treat into a mandatory daily habit, buying rounds of drinks for your friends because, hey, you can afford it now, right? Or constantly taking Ubers instead of the bus because walking a few blocks just suddenly feels like a marathon. It's like you're a frog in boiling water. Every upgrade was just $10 here, $20 there, $50 over there. They were small enough that you didn't even notice the temperature rising. But collectively, these tiny little upgrades are literally killing your financial freedom. You've got more money coming in, but less in your account at the end of the month. And you're not even living a luxury lifestyle. So, here is the absolute crucial point you need to take away from this explainer today. The problem isn't your paycheck, it is your psychology. Making more money doesn't just increase your expenses, it completely transforms them, and it does it totally invisibly. That person making $45,000 is financially healthier, not because they have more money, obviously, but because they have more awareness and way more discipline, just out of sheer necessity. The exact moment that raise hits your account, you fall into a very specific trap: unconscious spending. Look, when you make $45,000, every single decision is deliberate. You check prices, you compare your options, you're literally doing the math in your head at the grocery store because you simply can't afford to be careless. But jump up to $75,000, that forced discipline just evaporates. You trade all that hyper-awareness for lazy, unconscious spending. You stop checking prices, you stop comparing, you just wave your card and tell yourself, I can afford it. And sure, individually, you can afford that one coffee, but collectively, you absolutely cannot afford the whole shebang. Unconscious spending at a higher income level actually does way more damage than conscious spending at a lower income. Let's look closer at that 45K earner's mindset. They have a strict budget because they absolutely have to. They know they have exactly $400 left at the end of the month. But more importantly, they wait. If they see a jacket they like, they think about it for a week. And usually by the time they're actually ready to buy, the urge is past, or they realize they don't even really need it. That waiting period is the ultimate financial filter. But the 75K earner, they see it, they want it, they buy it that exact same day. There is no cooling off period whatsoever. It's just instant gratification. And let me tell you, instant gratification is wildly expensive. Now, this brilliantly illustrates the deepest psychological shift of all, and that is your identity. When you're at $45,000, your self-image is someone who needs to be careful, right? And that identity actually protects you from overspending. But at $75,000, you start identifying as successful. And successful people don't sweat the price of extra guacamole, do they? Actually, scratch that. It goes deeper. When you make $45K, your main constraint is money, so you optimize for cash. You cook, you fix things yourself, but when you make $75K, you're probably working harder. You're definitely more stressed, so your constraint shifts to time and energy. Because of that, your new successful identity starts hemorrhaging cash just buying convenience. Let's actually do some cold, hard math on that convenience because it's fascinating. Say you get home, you're totally exhausted after work, so you spend $20 on DoorDash just to save yourself 30 minutes of cooking. By doing that, you are actively valuing your free time at $40 an hour after taxes. But if you make $75,000 a year, your take-home pay is probably only about $36 an hour. Do you see the problem there? You are literally paying to save time at a higher rate than you actually earn. It makes zero financial sense when you break it down like that. The author of this research actually had this exact realization. They shared a quote that really hit the nail on the head. They said, "I was that $75,000 person. I got a promotion, a big raise, and I felt great for about 3 months. Then I noticed I was actually stressed about money way more than before. I ran the numbers and my mind exploded. My expenses had increased by almost exactly the amount of my raise. I was no better off than before. I was just spending more and not even enjoying it that much." This right here is the exact light bulb moment you need to have. The realization that if you want to actually benefit from all your hard work, you have to radically change your behavior. So, how do we actually fix this? Well, it's time to shift from being a passive consumer to a wealth builder. As your mentor here, I'm giving you the blueprint. The solution isn't to make less money, obviously. The solution is to completely break the automatic link between earning more and spending more. You have to start treating your raises like they are bonuses for your future, not just permission slips to instantly upgrade your present-day life. Okay, here is the secret playbook for your next raise. We call this the raise rule. Before you spend a single dollar of that new money, you're going to split it 3 ways. 50% goes strictly to the future. That's your investments and your savings. This is totally non-negotiable. You are literally buying your future freedom here. Then 25% goes to lifestyle. These are your guilt-free upgrades, the nicer apartment, the better meals. Enjoy it. And the final 25% goes to goals. That means paying off debt or maybe saving for a house. So if you get a $1,000 monthly raise, $500 goes to investments, $250 to lifestyle, $250 to goals. And the absolutely crucial key to making this work, you have to automate it. Set up automatic transfers for the exact day your paycheck hits. Because if you never actually see that money in your checking account, your psychology never even gets a chance to mess it up. But what about the money you are already making right now? For that, we need to do the awareness audit. Here is the hard truth. You have to manually recreate that financial awareness that the 45K earner just has naturally. Step 1, track every single dollar manually for 3 straight months. Use an app, use a spreadsheet, it really doesn't matter, just do it. Because honestly, most people are spending 30 to 40% more than they actually think they are. Step 2, identify that convenience waste. Yes, I'm looking right at those phantom subscriptions you forgot about and those ridiculous delivery fees. And step 3, cut that waste and reallocate those funds to what actually matters to you. It's wild, but just seeing the numbers written down on paper will totally change your behavior. Look, making more money should give you options. It shouldn't trap you in this endless cycle of constant upgrades. You really don't want to let your expenses grow faster than your income, upgrade your whole life, lose all that financial awareness, and just end up broke at a higher income level. So I want to leave you with a question to chew on. Next time you get a paycheck, a bonus, or a raise, look at your bank account and ask yourself honestly, are you buying your future freedom or are you just upgrading your present? Think about it. Your future self will definitely thank you for figuring this out today.